Are you ready to continue worship?
Now we're going to light the Christ candle. This reminds us that Christ is here while we worship. This is the desert. It's not the whole desert. It's just a piece of the desert that we have in our classroom. A lot of things happen in the desert with the people of God. The desert is a dangerous place. There's no food, no water, and people can die if they don't have food or water. Nothing grows here. The shape of the desert changes with the wind. The desert is a dangerous place. People do not go there unless they have to. It takes courage to go to the desert. The people of God were living in a place where the rain did not come. The crops had no water, so they could not grow. There was no grain to grind to make bread. Everyone was hungry. The children cried in their sleep, and their mothers and fathers decided to go to a new land where there was food. They had to go even though it was across the desert, and the journey began. It was hard in the desert, but they kept going towards the land called Egypt. In the land of Egypt, the king was called a pharaoh. When the people came into the land of Egypt, they found food and work, but the pharaoh trapped them. They could not go home again. They had to do what the pharaoh said. They had to live where the pharaoh said. They had to get up when the pharaoh said. They had to go to bed when the pharaoh said. They had to eat what the pharaoh said. They had to do the work the pharaoh said. They had to do everything the pharaoh said. They were slaves. One of the people, whose name was Moses, came to the pharaoh and said, "Let my people go." And the pharaoh said, "No." Moses went back many times to tell the pharaoh to let his people go, but the pharaoh always said, "No." There were many strange things that happened in the land. But the pharaoh always said no. Then something terrible happened. The oldest boys in the families of the people of God did not die because the people made a mark on the doors of their houses. They put the blood of a lamb there, and the angel of death passed over them. When Moses went back to the pharaoh said, "Yes." The people began to hurry to get everything ready. They packed all they could carry. They baked bread for the journey. There was no time to put leaven in the bread and let it sit so it would swell and get big and fluffy like the bread that you buy in the store. It was flat. The people went as quickly as they could. They were afraid of the pharaoh, afraid that he would change his mind. Suddenly they heard the sound that they did not want to hear. The ground began to shake. The Pharaoh's army was coming after them. The beating of horses' hooves and the rolling of the chariots sounded like thunder. The army of Pharaoh pushed the people right against the water. They did not know what to do. God came so close to Moses, and Moses came so close to God that he knew how to take the people through the water into freedom. This one looks so scared that he barely can move. This one is running. This one is happy. When the people were safe on the other side, the water closed behind them, and they were free. The army of the Pharaoh could not get them. Now all the people were free on the other side. They were so happy, they just had to give thanks to God, and Miriam led the dancing. I wonder what part of the story you like best. I wonder what part of the story is the most important. I wonder what part of the story is about you or who you are in the story. I wonder if there's any part of the story we can leave out and still have all the story we need. We will now end with the Lord's Prayer. Please pray with me. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. And for your blessing, I hope that you guys are still doing great at school online, and we're thinking about you, and we hope that you have a fun weekend.